right, welcome everybody to today's training. My name is Amber Cochran. I am the Senior Training Manager here for AHCP Sales. Today we are going to be going over overcoming objections. It is our fourth in a series, in our Back to Basics series. We do have a few people online, so we're going to go ahead and use the question poll, or the question or raising our hand if we have any questions or anything. And on that note, let's get started. So first thing you have to do is you have to stop viewing the objection as a negative. It's not, stop viewing it as a negative and try and use it as, what else can I do? What do I need to do to convince you that this is what you need? Okay? So, just a request for help. When we disagree or we get frustrated, we stop listening. This is important for the agent, okay? As an agent, when objections come up and we feel like they're negative, or when they say that they don't understand and you've already explained it 5 times, or when you get all the way through what you felt was a perfect pitch and they just want to think about it, or when you get through a perfect pitch and then you find out that you're $200 over budget, don't get frustrated, okay? Stop viewing it as that negative so that you stop getting frustrated, because if you're frustrated, you are not listening. You're off in another world. You're mad at yourself. You're yelling in your head. Maybe it's even coming out on the phone. So start listening. When you're planning what you're going to say next, okay, when you hear them saying that it's too much, or they just don't know, or they need to think about it, or whatever it is, and you're automatically starting to think about what you're going to say, you're not listening, okay? So that means that you're not hearing the true thing. Maybe they're saying that they want to think about it, and you're going, gosh, great, another person that just wants to think about it. Can't I just get someone that wants to buy? While you're thinking that in their head, maybe they've actually said, I'm not 100% sure if that's what's in my budget. I'm not 100% sure whether I want to go with the $5,000 deductible or the $3,500. Okay? If you're not listening, you're not hearing that thing, and those things are easy objections to overcome, okay? Very, very easy. So you're debating about a $3,500 deductible and a $5,000 deductible. Well, great. What my recommendation is let's go ahead and submit it as a $3,500 deductible. It is much, much easier to bump it up to the $5,000. The insurance companies don't care about that at all, okay? But when you want to get the better coverage, when you want to go from a $5,000 to a $3,500, when you want to change to that better coverage, that's when they start wondering what's going wrong. Do you know that there's claims coming? Whatever it might be. So if you're not hearing the true objection, then you're not, well, you're shooting yourself in the foot, okay? So stop planning what you're going to say. Listen to the full thing, okay? When you're planning what you're going to say next, oh, I think I have that slide in there twice. So remember, most people are searching for insurance during the most difficult times of their life. Okay, this is another thing that we have to remember to give the client a little slack. 90% of our clients are going through a divorce. They're losing their job. They're moving out of state. They're going through medical emergencies and trying to figure out how they're going to pay for COBRA. There's a ton of things, but they're all very, very, very emotional times. So sometimes they just have a ton of objections because they're just throwing up anything they can because they want to delay the inevitable, and they're just so lost for what to do. More of a reason for you to become the expert and give your advice. Consultative selling. All right, dealing with objections before they come up is mandatory, okay? It's part of what this series is about, is pitching the right product, asking the confirming questions, asking questions to confirm that that is what they're looking for. The whole entire process comes together. So if you're missing, if you're not asking the upfront questions so that you're pitching the right product, then you're done. You shot yourself in your foot. You might as well have hung up the phone already, okay? If you're not confirming every single time you give a benefit, if you're not confirming that they understand, you lost them somewhere and you lost the sale. If you're not asking questions as far as, is this what you're looking for? If you're just getting some answers of confirming like, yeah, ask a question that requires more, okay? Ask, is this what you were looking for, okay? Make them engage in the conversation. Is that what you were expecting? Can you see how that would benefit? Whatever it might be, but ask for something to engage conversation, that is what they're looking for. Objections are generally one of three things, okay? It's a lack of information. The client just doesn't know enough, so they still have questions. It's misinformation or misunderstanding. Maybe that last insurance agent that they were talking to has convinced them that that health access plan is a major medical. Whatever it might be, maybe you said something that they didn't understand. Maybe they're stuck, their mind is stuck on group insurance. So when you start talking to them about health history and they're trying to figure out how pre-existing conditions work, maybe they're stuck there. Who knows? Misinformation, misunderstanding is very easy. Lack of information is very easy. The third one is a deficiency in offering. Not so easy. Maybe they're looking for some sort of coverage that you just flat out don't have, okay? So, lack of information or misinformation, misunderstanding, very, very simple to deal with. You just got to figure out where you went wrong, okay? Ask the questions. Figure out, get on the same page with that client to figure out where you went wrong so that they understand completely, okay? Steps to overcoming the objections. These are still just those, you know, misinformation, lack of information, whatever it might be, okay? First off, no matter what they tell you, zip it. Gotta be quiet. Give them time to think, okay? If you have to, count to your head for 5 seconds, whatever it might be. But there's a few things that this does for you, okay? First off, you maintain control of the conversation. You weed out false objections. They might answer their own question, or they might even realize that it didn't matter at all. So earlier I gave you an example of they want to think about it because they're not sure whether they can bump their budget up, or maybe they don't know which one fits better into their budget, that $3,500 or that $5,000, okay, or whatever it might be. So let them talk it out. You being silent, even though you know what you're going to say, you being silent, they might say, but, you know, I think that $3,500 is just going to end up being better. That way, everything, you know, a little bit lower deductible in case of that non-accident type stuff. And I mean, just let them talk. They'll ramble on forever sometimes, and you never had to say a word to overcome their objection. Okay? The false objections are they're smoke screens. How many times do you get that person that just answers the phone and I've already taken care of it? And you can overcome that. Okay, this is before even you get to the pitch, but when they say that they've already got it taken care of, start talking to them. Overcome that objection. Great. Who'd you go with? Whatever it is, you know, if it's a regional carrier, start talking to them about regional carriers. You know, it depends on the person, but start talking to them about the fact that, you know, Kaiser's like that gatekeeper HMO, that they have to go and someone else is in control of their health care. Start talking to them about the regional networks versus nationwide networks. So they're being charged more for the non-life-threatening or not even covered at all for the non-life-threatening things that happen away from home. Maybe when you say, great, what'd you go with, they say United Healthcare, and you say, that's an amazing plan. I love United Healthcare. It's one that I sell every single day. You probably settled on a higher deductible, right? And did you get the gap insurance that goes with that? That way you don't have to pay a whole lot of anything. You don't have to worry about those accidents, that $5,000 deductible for critical illness. Create a conversation, okay? Those smoke screen objections, maybe they say that they settled on United Healthcare, and then you start talking to them more, and they haven't even applied for the plan. They just know what they want, okay? Get those sales in your pocketbook, not somebody else's, okay? So, 2, or the rest of the steps of overcoming the objections, okay? If it's a true objection, acknowledge, clarify, quantify, and handle. So, acknowledging the objective, acknowledging the objective means, you know what, I completely understand what you're saying. A lot of people worry about having a $5,000 deductible. Then clarify. Is that the only piece of this plan that you are in debate over? Then the quantify and clarify go very closely together, okay? So if that's the only thing, what really you need to remember is that we're putting these combination plans in place. And even though the major medical has a $5,000 deductible, you have to remember that accidents and critical illness, which you have coverage for, make up 92% of the reason why people are reaching their deductible. And then the other 8%, the non-heart attack, cancer, stroke, accident stuff, really, you're only on the hook when those happen. But guess what? So a great piece of this plan that I forgot to tell you about, United has a deductible credit. That deductible credit means that if you don't reach your deductible this year, next year it's going to be 20% less. So instead of $5,000, it's only going to be $4,000. And then after that, it's going to drop to $3,000 if you don't reach it. And if you don't reach the $3,000, it's going to drop all the way down to $2,500 deductible, and it's just going to stay there. So, you know, hopefully, if you end up with something non-heart attack, cancer, stroke, one of those 8%, hopefully that happens in a few years when you don't have to worry about the full $5,000. And you're done. Overcome. Move on. Don't just stop there. Move on to the next piece of closing the sale. So, you said you wanted a November 15th start date, correct? In order to put this plan into place, and you just move on, okay? So, common objections. Price. Price is a huge objection we deal with all of the time, okay? But is price really the only consideration in making your decision today? How many people will pay extra for the service, for the quality, for the doctor's networks, okay? Features and benefits. Features sell, but benefits tell, okay? telling them the story, how it's going to work for them, the ease of the process is huge when it comes to price. And guess what? Think about your own personal buying decisions. How often do you want to go and buy something new, whether it's a washer and dryer or a TV or a car or whatever it might be? Let's use a TV for ease of use, okay? We go in and we say we're going to spend $500. We go through and we start looking at the TVs, but you know that $750 TV is on sale for $550. And it's huge. It's got 6 extra inches and it's got better hertz and the whole 9 yards. Guess what? You're going to fork up the extra $50 for the better TV. If you sell the benefits, they're going to fork up the extra $50 for the sale or for their package. Then last thing you do is reduce the price, okay? You don't automatically want to go cutting benefits and those sort of things, okay? Now, the other takeaway piece of that common objection, reducing the price, is saying, okay, so I can save you $50, but what's going to happen is you're saying that you're going to pay, if you get that non-heart attack, cancer, stroke, you're okay with being on the hook for a $10,000 deductible instead. Is that okay? I love those people that want to drop the accident or the critical illness coverage because they want to save that $30 or $40 or $50. Okay, I can go ahead and take that off of here, but I just need to make sure that you're okay and you understand that if you get in an accident and break your leg, you're going to owe $5,000 out of your own checking account. Are you okay with that? Perfect. I'll go ahead and make these notes here. How many of them are perfect with paying $5,000? They're not. They'll pay the extra $25 for that coverage, and then you move on to the critical illness. So price is an easy objection to overcome most of the time. Then we have product is missing something. Okay, maybe the product is missing, a huge one, maternity coverage. Okay, maternity coverage, product that I just am looking for the maternity coverage. Use some statistics. If you guys were with me for that HSA selling, that market niche piece, I talked a lot about maternity in that. Guess what? If you want the true maternity coverage, it's usually 3 times as expensive, and it all falls under the deductible. Let them know it. They'll be okay with going with an HSA plan because they're going to save money, okay? So increase the value of the other benefits, reducing the significance of the missing piece. Maybe sometimes we're changing carriers, changing products because you were pitching a short-term plan, then they really want the prescription coverage, so now you have to change to the full major medical. Whatever it might be, okay? Just shopping around. Just shopping around is a huge objection, but figure out why they're shopping. Lowest price, best benefits, claims, customer service, bigger network. Why are you shopping? Don't just automatically think, oh man, I'm never going to sell this person. They're just shopping right now. Click. We get transfers all the time. We get people that we talk to, and I see notes in our system that someone will put it back into the system saying, just shopping, not really interested, want to deal with a local agent. And the very next day, someone else sells it over the phone. Stop getting that just shopping around is not really interested. Figure out why they're shopping and use it to close them by picking the right product or carrier. So, regional carriers. Oh, I forgot I put the slide in here. So, regional carriers. What's more important, saving money or a plan that has the same benefits across the nation. Okay? I have a client out in California who has Anthem Blue Cross of California. It's Blue Cross. You would think you would have coverage all over the place. She went to her daughter's down in Texas, stepped off a curb, tweaked her knee, went into the emergency room, got a brace, got crutches, the whole 9 yards. Guess what happened? Anthem Blue Cross denied her claim completely, not even out-of-network charges, denied her claim completely because it was not life or death. Regional carrier, okay? And sometimes when you get those analytical, or I'm sorry, not analytical, I would say more of the controller, okay? You get that controller that just wants to be right there. Sometimes you got to be a controller back to them. And my favorite when this one comes up, oh, so you don't travel very much, do you? Always gets a good little like, what do you mean? Well, that regional carrier is not going to work the same across the nation. I just figured that you're so, because you're smart and you know how it works, I'm sorry, I just assumed, my bad. And it's kind of an apology, and it opens up a conversation. So, can you send it to me is another huge, huge thing, okay? We work with all the major carriers, and this one, objection, overcoming this objection, I'm talking about in the beginning. How many, like 90% people, oh, I just wanted something emailed to me. You know, whatever it might be. Guess what? If you just want something really emailed to you, go online and get it from eHealth, and you can figure it out yourself. I'm an expert. My time is valuable. I work with all the major carriers, and we have multiple plans. In order to get that accurate quote of what you actually need, I just need a little bit more information. And I want to make sure that you understand how it's going to work for you. And then be silent. Zip it. What do they say? Most of the time, they say it makes sense, or they say, well, I really don't have time right now, but can we schedule something for tomorrow afternoon? So, oh, talking about those emailing quotes. So I hopped onto eHealth, 42-year-old male in California, 75 plans. Texas, 108 plans. Florida, 59 plans. Oregon, 70 plans. Guess what? Your client has no clue what they are. California price range from 90 to 544, and we all know that those benefits are ridiculously different, okay? You have to get it across to that client that says, can you just email them to me? You got to get it across that it's confusing, and it's your job to help them understand it. So, another, can you send it to me? What you need to do most of the time is you need to fix the beginning of your pitch, okay? So when they've told you, especially when they've told you in the beginning that they just want you to email it to them, make sure before you actually get into the benefits, you ask them, do you have a pen and paper? Before we get into the actual details, are you around a pen and paper so that you can take notes and you can be better informed on your decision, okay? If you're all the way at the end and it comes up, I'd be happy to email it to you. However, most of the time, people get confused by that brochure. It's huge. United's brochure is like 37 pages, and I don't want to send all of that to you. So what is it that I can remind you of so that you can take your own notes? Or I'll send you a recap. I'll send you a screenshot of the brochure, not the brochure, but the benefit page that you're looking at, the quote page, okay? Do something in general so that they have reason to call you back, if they have questions over what's going on. So, any questions for me on the things that we have gone over? I don't see any questions popping up. So I'd like to say thank you for your time. Again, my name is Amber Cochran, and if you have any specific questions for me, feel free to email me at training@ahcpsales.com. Thanks, guys.